Jordan here. Bombshell, bombshell, bombshell news.
Army. I began active duty service in 1999 and I served until 2002. I was assigned to the U.S. Army Training Center, W4J9 Alpha Alpha, Fort Irwin, California, located in the Mojave Desert.
Just going to give you a few of the highlights in the interest of time, but thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to look down and read this. I have a brain injury, so it gives me problems. So I apologize. My name is Stephen Michael Digna Jr. Doctor, I'm sorry. These are slipping my hands here. That's okay. My name is Stephen Michael Digna Jr. The following testimony is true and inaccurate as it can be at this time, to the best of my ability, and I am prepared to swear this testimony under oath before the Senate and Congress. I'm a former sergeant in the United States Army. I began active duty service in 1999, and I served until 2002. I was assigned to the U.S. Army Training Center, W4J9 Alpha Alpha, Fort Irwin, California, located in the Mojave Desert inside Death Valley near the Barstow, California in 2000. I was assigned to Alpha Company Group, Live Fire Combat Engineer Division, Computer Support Systems, and basically for civilians it's management for live fire operations. I acted as a hub between the operations group, intelligence planners, ground team, Air Force, and Star Wars programs. Thank you, Doctor. In July of 2001, I was observing a live fire practice at a level from an observation deck at approximately 3 stories high from the desert floor. I saw a craft in the distance at approximately 200 feet off the ground, measuring approximately 172 feet across, strongly resembling a hovering B-2 Spirit. Upon first glance, my eyes were adjusting to the darkness. I could see 7 lights in a V-shape. After that, I closed my eyes for approximately 30 seconds to allow them to adjust to lighting conditions. We were running red lights throughout the bunker due to the current live fire exercise. The range was hot. That means rounds are being fired and lives are at risk at all times. This was interrupted by a very, very ominous call, a net call. It said, "Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire." It came from one of our observer controllers on the ground. There was about 27 teams out there. And they kept soldiers alive and trained them. Sorry, thank you, Doctor. Once my eyes adjusted, I could make out the general shape of the craft. There were 2 men from Raytheon present. I pulled out my night vision goggles to get a better look at the craft. It appeared to be generating 7 lights along its wings and underbelly. I noticed another smaller craft oriented on the right side and at the same height as the first craft, approximately 75 feet to 100 yards to its right. The second craft was jet black, V-shaped, pointed towards the first craft. This craft had equally joined, spaced, rectangular sections forming the hull. The craft had a gimbal rack that deployed from the bottom of the craft. Approximately 5 to 6 holographic lights, holographic emitting lights were pointed directly at the first craft. That was my assumption, due to the fact that they were displaying a strange color within my MVG goggles. Anyone that knows the old school, circa 2000 MVGs, they don't emit color. They give you green, grays, and blacks. I was seeing colors within my night vision goggles. This was not normal. And it was my assumption that perhaps this was a hologram being projected from the other craft. I can't confirm that. However, that was my assessment at the time and my suspicion at the time. I wanted to throw a baseball at it, but I didn't have one, just to see if it was tangible and solid. The second craft was jet black, V-shaped. I'm sorry, jumped a little space here. Thank you for the bullets, Raven. The craft and the gimbal rack were deployed from the bottom of the craft and approximately 5 or 6 lights. Sorry, Dr. Greer. Guys, I goofed up, and that's a part of the brain injury suffered during the explosion on the live fire range. One of the 2 men on the observation deck from Raytheon noticed the night vision goggles I had. He went from chattering cheerfully. They were pretty relaxed. They'd seen these before. It wasn't abnormal to them. He looked at me with a very, very severe look of disapproval and anger that I had. At that point, they both went calmly inside, probably a little bit angry, and it felt as though I had crossed the line. I took another look with my night vision goggles. The reason this event was not reported was due to the fact that it was not unidentified. I'm going to repeat this very clearly to the cameras. This craft was not unidentified. This was one of our birds, and to the observer controller, they called that.
Guys, I mean, like he said, not unidentified. And that is not the end to the man's story. Go to Alexi Barnes, Michael Herrera, full testimony. There's 6 different people on there who are whistleblowers, and it is insanity.